Welcome to In Loving Memory, a heartfelt space guided by Joseph to honor lives that left a deep and lasting imprint on the world. Here we remember treasured individuals from film, music, culture, and beyond, reflecting on their achievements, their humanity, and the inspiration they shared. Through every tribute, their presence lives on in the hearts of those who remember them. Ashley Jannah was a lifestyle influencer known for sharing travel, fashion, and everyday moments with her online audience. She built a following through her aesthetic content, personal reflections, and glimpses into her experiences around the world. Her presence on social media connected her with people who admired her openness and creative storytelling. Engagement and Tanzania trip. Earlier this month, Ashley was on a vacation in Tanzania, celebrating both her birthday and her recent engagement to her fiancé, crypto fund founder Joe McCann. During the trip, she shared updates showcasing luxury stays, scenic views, and special moments with her partner, including experiences exploring the local surroundings and wildlife. Passing and ongoing investigation. During the trip, Ashley was found unresponsive at her villa and later pronounced dead. Authorities have since launched an investigation to better understand the circumstances surrounding her passing. Officials are continuing to gather information as part of their ongoing inquiries. Family statement and legacy. Following the news, her family released a statement expressing deep grief and requesting privacy as they cope with the loss. They also asked for patience as they cooperate with authorities. Ashley is remembered for her vibrant online presence, her love of travel, and the joy she shared with her followers. The music world is mourning the loss of Bob Weir, the legendary guitarist, vocalist, and founding member of Grateful Dead, who has passed away at the age of 78. Born on October 16, 1947, Weir's life was closely connected to the evolution of modern American music. His family remembered him as more than a performer, describing him as a storyteller and creative spirit whose influence extended far beyond the stage, even as he continued performing despite health challenges. Musical journey and the Grateful Dead Weir's journey began as a teenager when he met Jerry Garcia, a meeting that led to the formation of a band that reshaped live music culture. Alongside Phil Lesh, Ron McKernan, Bill Kreutzmann, and Mickey Hart, he helped build a sound rooted in rock, folk, blues, and improvisation, creating a devoted community of fans worldwide. Legacy and tributes over decades, Weir's rhythm guitar style and distinctive voice became central to the band's identity. He received honors including Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, but fans remember him most for the connection his music created. He is survived by his family, who have asked for privacy while thanking supporters for their love. His music continues to live on, shaping generations of listeners. Michael Patrick was an Irish actor known for his work across television and theatre. He built his career through steady supporting roles, earning appreciation for his grounded performances and natural screen presence. He gradually became part of several well-known productions, developing a quiet but respected reputation in the industry. Television work. He appeared in multiple television projects, including a brief role in Game of Thrones, where he worked alongside actors such as Kit Harington and Sophie Turner. Alongside screen work, he also remained active in theater, where he explored both classical and contemporary material with a focus on emotional depth. Illness and final years. In his later years, Michael lived with a serious neurological condition that gradually affected his mobility and daily life. Despite these challenges, he continued to stay engaged in creative work when possible, including stage projects that reflected his personal experiences. He was surrounded by close family and support throughout this period. Legacy and tributes, his wife Naomi shared that he passed away peacefully in the presence of loved ones while receiving care. She remembered him as warm, joyful, and deeply kind. Those who knew him and worked with him recall his resilience, creativity, and the positive energy he brought into every space he entered. Yvonne Lyme Feddersen was born on January 16, 1936, and went on to enjoy a warm and memorable presence in classic Hollywood. In the 1950s, she became a familiar face to audiences who were drawn to her natural charm and sincerity on screen. She appeared in productions such as I Was a Teenage Werewolf, where she worked alongside Michael Landon, and Loving You, sharing the screen with Elvis Presley. Her performances were known for their gentleness and emotional authenticity. A life beyond the spotlight. Rather than continuing a traditional Hollywood rise, Yvonne chose a different path rooted in purpose and compassion. Together with her close friend Sarah O'Meara, she co-founded Child Help, dedicating her life to supporting children affected by abuse and neglect. Her decision to step away from acting reflected a deep commitment to making a real-world difference. Legacy of compassion and service. Yvonne continued her humanitarian work for more than 5 decades, even after marrying television producer Don Feddersen. Her legacy is defined not only by her film appearances, but by her tireless advocacy for vulnerable children. She is remembered as someone who transformed fame into service, leaving behind a lasting impact built on kindness, courage, and lifelong dedication to helping others. Some lives arrive quietly and then expand until they seem larger than geography, language, or time. This is the story of a woman who rose from obscurity to global recognition, not through ease, but through endurance. Her voice would eventually be heard in stadiums, films, and ceremonies watched by billions, but the beginning held none of that promise. It held only necessity, family, and an unusual gift that appeared long before the world had a name for it. What followed was a journey shaped as much by sacrifice as by success, where every milestone carried a hidden cost. Fame did not arrive as celebration alone. It arrived as pressure, expectation, and transformation. And behind the music the world adored stood a life constantly being rebuilt under extraordinary demands. A childhood built on survival and song, and she was born into a large family in a small Quebec town where resources were stretched and comfort was rare. With many siblings and limited income, daily life revolved around sharing, adapting, and enduring long winters that tested both patience and provision. Privacy did not exist, and stability was something the family created through togetherness rather than circumstance. Yet within that environment, music became a second language. Her parents sang, her siblings played instruments, and the household often turned hardship into harmony. Long before she understood performance or ambition, she understood emotion carried through sound. At 5 years old, she stood on a kitchen table and sang with unexpected certainty. That moment did not look like a beginning of fame, but it quietly marked the emergence of something undeniable. The discovery that changed everything. As she grew, her voice became impossible to ignore within her community. Her early teenage years brought the moment that shifted her life outward from family to industry. A handwritten song and a homemade recording reached a respected music manager who initially approached it like countless others he had received. But something in her voice made him stop. replay, and listen again with growing disbelief. When they finally met, he did not find a polished performer, but a young girl whose presence filled the room with focus far beyond her age. Convinced of her potential, he made an extraordinary decision to support her career personally, investing not just money, but his own security. That commitment marked the beginning of a professional path that would be carefully shaped and intensely protected. Training a star and rebuilding an identity. Success in her early years was immediate in her region, but the leap to global recognition required transformation. Under careful guidance, she refined not only her vocal ability, but her entire public presentation. Language training, image adjustments, and media preparation became part of her daily life. She adapted quickly, driven by discipline rather than resistance, understanding that talent alone would not carry her across international boundaries. Every change was intentional, aimed at making her accessible to audiences far beyond her home province. Yet beneath the adjustments, her core identity remained intact. She was not replaced or rewritten, but refined for scale. This period shaped her into an artist capable of bridging cultures, styles, and expectations, while maintaining a distinct emotional clarity in her performances. Love, controversy, and public judgment. As her career expanded, so did attention to her personal life, particularly her relationship with the man who had guided her career from the beginning. The age difference and long-standing professional connection drew public scrutiny and criticism. Observers questioned power dynamics, while tabloids amplified speculation into controversy. What began privately eventually became publicly debated, placing her emotions under constant examination. Despite this, she remained firm in her understanding of the relationship, describing it with certainty rather than hesitation. Eventually, they married in a widely broadcast ceremony that symbolized both triumph and tension between private devotion and public opinion. For her, the moment was not about spectacle, but about commitment formed over years of shared struggle, ambition, and trust that had survived far more than public judgment, breaking into the global stage. Her international breakthrough came through a combination of competition exposure and carefully timed album releases. A major televised music contest introduced her to an audience of hundreds of millions, where she performed as an unknown representing a country outside her birth identity. The victory was narrow but decisive, instantly placing her on the global map. From there, English-language albums followed, each one expanding her reach and refining her emotional delivery. Her songs became known for their intensity, precision, and ability to feel personally directed at each listener. Critics debated her style, but audiences responded overwhelmingly. She was not easily categorized, moving between pop, ballad, and cinematic soundscapes with equal command. What emerged was a global presence defined not by trend, but by consistency and emotional resonance. The era of unstoppable success. By the mid-1990s, she had become one of the most recognizable voices in the world. Her songs topped charts across continents, and her performances filled arenas that once seemed unreachable. Each release reinforced her position not as a passing sensation, but as a defining voice of her era. Her ability to convey vulnerability within powerful arrangements made her music widely relatable across languages and cultures. Then came her contribution to a major cinematic release that would become one of the most successful films in history. The associated song, recorded with remarkable immediacy, became a global phenomenon. It played everywhere: radio, television, public spaces, embedding itself into collective memory. At this point, Her voice was no longer just heard, it was culturally embedded. A recording that became history. The iconic film ballad that defined a generation was recorded with striking simplicity. She approached it not as a technical showcase, but as an emotional moment that required honesty over perfection. Recorded quickly and with minimal repetition, the final version preserved subtle imperfections that gave it life. When the film released and became a global success, the song followed, transcending its original purpose. It became associated with themes of love, loss, and memory, carried by her vocal delivery into universal recognition. Few recordings achieve such permanence in cultural history. For her, however, it was another extension of her long-standing approach. Connect deeply, deliver sincerely, and allow the audience to feel as though the message belongs personally to them. Love, loss, and sudden absence. Behind the success, her personal life endured profound hardship. Her husband, who had been central to both her career and personal world, faced a long illness that gradually shifted their shared life into one of caregiving and endurance. During this period, she balanced global performance demands with emotional responsibility at home. Eventually, he passed away, and within a short span, she also lost a close family member, compounding grief into an overwhelming sequence of loss. The proximity of these events left a deep emotional impact, reshaping her understanding of stability and presence. Public appearances paused or softened as she navigated mourning while maintaining family responsibilities. It was a period marked not by career milestones, but by the quiet rebuilding of life after profound absence. A rare diagnosis and a new battle. Years later, she revealed a diagnosis that explained symptoms she had quietly endured for an extended time. The condition was extremely rare, affecting the nervous system and causing involuntary muscle stiffness and painful spasms. For a performer whose career depended on physical control and breath, the implications were severe. Everyday actions became unpredictable, and the stage became uncertain territory. The diagnosis brought clarity, but also limitation, forcing cancellations and withdrawal from public performance. Fans who had long associated her with strength and vocal mastery now faced a different image, an artist confronting vulnerability at its most physical level. The illness did not erase her identity, but it redefined her relationship with her own body and career. Rehabilitation, family, and persistence recovery became a daily discipline rather than a destination. Under medical supervision, she began physical therapy focused on rebuilding basic mobility and control. Movements that once supported performance now required careful effort and attention. Her family became the center of her environment, providing structure, encouragement, and stability. Her children played an essential role in maintaining emotional grounding, while close professionals supported her rehabilitation journey. Progress was slow and uncertain, marked by setbacks and small victories rather than dramatic change. Yet through it all, she maintained a determination shaped by decades of discipline. The stage was no longer guaranteed, but the effort to return to it remained present. Her focus shifted from global touring to the possibility of simply regaining functional strength and expressive freedom. One return, resilience, and continuing voice. After years away from major performance, she made a powerful return during a global sporting ceremony that captured worldwide attention. Appearing visibly changed but resolute, she delivered a performance that carried emotional weight beyond technical execution. The moment was not about perfection, but persistence. Audiences responded not only to her voice, but to everything it represented: survival, endurance, and continued presence, despite overwhelming challenge. It became a reminder that artistic identity is not erased by illness or absence. Today, she continues to navigate her condition while focusing on health, family, and the possibility of future expression. Her story is no longer defined by peak success alone, but by continuity through adversity. In the end, her voice remains what it has always been: not just sound, but connection. Proof that even in fragility, something enduring can still be heard.